Hey everyone, so we are in Oconee State Park looking to do a quick overnight. We're only looking to hike, I don't know, 3-4 miles, find a nice spot next to a creek, set up and just enjoy camping. This is kind of a precursor, you know, getting ready for a big foothills trip that we're looking at maybe doing in January, where we hike the entire foothills trail across a 7 to 9 day time period. But none of us have ever been up here. We don't know what the parking lots look like. We don't know, you know, what the rules are. And so we figured we'd come out here for a day or a couple days, do an overnight, and see what's what in the area, you know, do a little recon. Of course, we have a state park, South Carolina State Park pass. When we went up to the information center, they said that we needed to also get another pass, a paper tag, just to indicate what day we were planning to come out, what day we were looking to pick our car up. And so I've got that hung in front of our state park pass. So parking is normally, I think, $2 a day. And so whenever you get to your trailhead, you would just go up to the information office, let them know how many days you're planning to be here, go ahead and pay up front, they'll give you the paper tag. Seems like a pretty easy process. I'll have to look. It looks like they're doing a Trailblaze challenge. I'm not familiar with this. 28.3 miles in one day. I wonder when this race happens. And they were, as we pulled up, they were setting this finish line up. Okay, we were hoping for it to be a little cooler. You know, earlier in the week it was getting down to kind of the lower 40s as a low, you know, upper 30s. And then of course the weekend we were able to get away for a night. I think our low's like 55. It's not gonna get cold at all, but it's still worth, you know, getting out here, getting a day or two on a trail. You know, setting up the camps, or setting up the tarps and hammocks, getting away. You know, this state park is about 3.5-4 hours from where we live. We're really not that far from our normal camp, our hiking spot, the Linville Gorge. That's probably another hour and a half north of where we're at right now. You know, we don't really have a plan. We just wanted to check out the area. We figured we'd park the car, start coming down the trail. We know there's a creek about 4 miles up, so at a minimum, that's kind of our goal. Is to get to the creek, set up a camp, enjoy ourselves. As we came in, there's a sign for a little side trail for a hidden falls. It's supposed to be like a 50 or 60 foot waterfall, so it might be worth trying to check that out. Colors are phenomenal out here right now. You know, first part of November, surprisingly warm. The trees are a beautiful red and orange, yellow. I wonder how far away the waterfall is. I don't know, what do you think? Should we do the foothills trail? Should we go see the waterfall? The waterfall's pretty close. Let's go see. What time is it? Yeah, we'll go check this out. You know, for people that's been following this channel for a minute, you'll notice I got a different GPS unit. So I brought my old eTrex 10 with me. I have my phone with all the different GPS applications that I use. And then of course the new Garmin InReach Explorer Plus. So maybe later today or tomorrow we could take a minute and talk about why I have those particular devices and what I think about them. Look at all that red and orange. Hopefully it doesn't get washed out with the light. So far the trail's been really nice. It's kind of flat. There hasn't been a whole lot of up and down. The trail's cut really well through here. A little bit of blowdown, but nothing big. We have found the hidden waterfall. I mean, it's not very hidden. The sign at the beginning back at the trailhead said 2.6 miles, and the GPS nails it right at 2.6 miles. So I think we're going to take this as a little break opportunity, eat a snack, drink some water, enjoy the sound of the water, figure out where we want to go from here. Ooh, so we're about 6.7 miles into our trip today. We're only like 4 miles from the trailhead. It took, 2.5 miles or so to do that that waterfall side trail. We found ourselves a nice little spot right off the trail. We're not too far off the trail. It's kind of back here in the roto. It's right next to a nice little stream. So we're gonna try to make this home for the night. See if we can't get 2 hammocks up. Not too shabby. Alright, so I think I'm all set up. Now, I'm not one that brings out a lot of new gear all the time. For this trip, about the only thing I've got new is a new GPS unit, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. For anybody that's watching my videos for the first time, I've got my do-it-yourself 12-foot tarp. This is with the Hexon or Xenon 0.9 fabric from Dutchwear Gear. Doors, my suspension, I'm still using the Dyneema straps. They're 12 feet, standard buckle. Got a continuous loop through the end of my do-it-yourself fabric. This is the 1.0 Hexon from Dutchwear Gear. And then for my quilt set, I've got my do-it-yourself full-length underquilt. This is probably 30 degrees. I haven't fully tested that yet, so we'll see if that holds true this winter. I made this out of the taffeta, the 0.6 ounce taffeta from Ripsack by the Roll. And it's a differential cut. I'm pretty happy with that. And then for a top quilt, I'm using some more material I got from Dutchwear. This is the 0.6 equivalent to the taffeta that he carries. But that's good down to 20-30 degrees. So Mike's rocking his normal Hennessy setup, except now he has a new tarp. He picked up one of the Mike, who makes this again? This is an Underground Equipment one, right? Yeah.
Yep, Underground Equipment. It's a penny pincher.
The Underground Equipment penny pincher tarp. It's made out of a 1.1 material, if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah. You could get that at a really good price. He got a 12-foot with doors, and it weighs less than his old Hennessy tarp without doors. Very nice. You know, with the penny pincher series, you have to add your own tie outs and do your own seam sealing, but you can get a really reasonable tarp, or reasonably priced, well-manufactured tarp. And then following with the underground equipment, he's got a 20-degree set, quilt set, full-length underquilt, top quilt, and then of course his Hennessy hammock. All right, let's talk GPS. You know, when I first started hiking, I didn't even own a GPS device outside of my phone. You know, we'd go out, use a map. We were in pretty safe areas. I was thinking about getting one, but hadn't pulled the trigger yet. And then when we started hiking in places like the Linville Gorge, I thought, you know, it'd be really nice to have a GPS unit, but not to navigate by, you know. I decided I wanted a GPS unit that gave me some basic capability, such as like a trip computer to know how far I've gone, what the elevation is. Also had the ability to record my GPS track to put on my website, and then to look at later and have it as a record of the trip. And then last, you know, I was thinking if I needed to track back to something, having a breadcrumb to get back to it would be pretty nice. You know, a requirement of having topographical maps on my GPS unit was never really high on my list. And for that reason, my first GPS unit was the Garmin eTrex 10. You can pick these up for about $100, and it's a really great GPS unit. You know, it has the trip computer on it. It does everything I was looking for, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't do topo maps at all. So if maps are important, this is not the kind of GPS unit that you want to do. It'll give you a breadcrumb on the map, and that's about it. Now, I've used this for a couple years. I love it. I stand by it. I think this is a great GPS unit. You know, for mapping and knowing where I am, I rarely use this, right? There were a couple times I would pull up a track and look at somebody else's GPS track. But for topo maps, I would either have a printed map, or I would use my phone in an application like Avenza. So on Avenza, I've got a map here of the Linville Gorge. And this would give me a really good representation of the area. I'd have this and a paper map as my primary navigation source. And I'm carrying the phone anyway. It's my camera, it's a backup video camera, it's a way of calling home, you know. And so putting maps on my phone is a no-brainer. However, the things that these GPS units don't provide is the ability to communicate back home when you're in a very remote situation. So some past experience has prompted me to look at alternative GPS and communication devices that I could use while out on the trail. There are a number of things that you could pick up. You know, some people are using an older model of the DeLorean inReach Explorer. Some people are using the Spot devices. And then of course you can see I've gone with the Garmin, the upgraded inReach Explorer Plus. I just recently picked this up, I mean in the last week, so I can't give a full review of it. I don't know what all the features are, but the reason I ended up picking it up is simply communication, right? I need to be able to confidently send a message back to my family to let them know that I'm okay and that things are going well. And I don't have to worry about cell phone service, and that's where the inReach systems are really great. They operate on the Iridium satellite network, which is a very robust, really solid satellite network. It's something that the military uses. And so having the ability to contact home was the primary reason for picking up a more expensive, nicer GPS unit. Now, this GPS unit allows for things like topo maps and has more features than this one. You know, as I use this inReach Explorer more in the future, maybe down the road I could try to do a more detailed review and give the ins and outs and personal opinions of it. As of right now, I'm pretty happy with it. You know, I'm finding that even though this has been repackaged with the Garmin casing, and it's still very much a DeLorean product on the inside, and so it doesn't operate with the Garmin maps, it doesn't operate with the Garmin software. You still have to use the inReach website services to upload maps and download your tracks and sync with the device. I'm hoping in the future it's simply a firmware update that Garmin can push out to allow this inReach to be able to communicate with the same kinds of software that my eTrex, as I really do like the Garmin Basecamp software. It's been really flexible, really easy to use. You know, generally speaking, you know, for the week that I've had this inReach Explorer, I'm really happy with the purchase. I think it's going to be a great addition to my kit. I tell you, home sweet home. I'm looking forward to a good solid 8 or more hours of sleep tonight. Things have been busy. This is a nice little break. You know, it's certainly worth a quick drive. You could get out 3-4 hours, get to somewhere that allows you to do a little backcountry camping. Man, it's worth it. You know, we put in like 6.7 miles today with our trip to the falls, or to that little waterfall. Not bad at all. A little bit of, it was mostly downhill, so I'm mostly uphill going home tomorrow. It's only like 4 miles back to the trailhead. This will make for a nice little getaway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all for day one. We're gonna hang out, enjoy ourselves, hit the rack here pretty soon. I think we got about another half hour before it gets dark. See if I can't get a solid, 9 hours of sleep tonight. Looking forward to it. Good morning. It's about 10 after 6. We had a little bit of rain last night. Oh man, what a wonderful way to spend some time. I think we're gonna get packed up. I try to get out of here by 8 o'clock. Probably get out of here a little earlier. Try to get us back to the house, in time for dinner with the family. Starting to lose my voice some. I got a lot of sinus drainage. But I feel okay. I sound a lot worse than I feel. We got some rainy, dreary weather coming out of here this morning. Got good coverage, so it's not really bothering us. So Mike and I were just talking. Last night was daylight savings time. So the time rolled back an hour. We weren't sure if our phones would do that rollover while they were in airplane mode. Like, I'm pretty sure it'll work. Like, at the very least, the GPS has time on it. The inReach Explorer has a clock on it. It's got to be feeding time from the satellite. So like, we'll make sure, after we set our alarm for 6, that it is in fact 6. We'll come to find out this morning, the phones had rolled back, but the Garmin didn't. So my Garmin is an hour ahead in time. I'd imagine when I get home and sync it with the inReach software, that it'll push an updated time to it. But I was really surprised. I really expected the Garmin to be accurate and the phone to probably not be accurate. Well folks, that's about all. That's good, because I ain't got a voice left. Today I don't feel that bad. I sound bad though. We're gonna go get changed over into some real clothes, find us some caffeine, some breakfast. Until next time, thanks.